Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Boy, I tell you what, every time you tune on the news these days, it seems like there's a major security breach. It seems like everyone's been hacked. Of course, we all remember the big Target hack and the big Home Depot hack, but now we're learning that the federal government's been hacked, and even our electrical grid is being threatened by overseas hackers. My next guest is Mark Gigliotti. He's the president of USACI, and he is a cybersecurity expert. He's also a client of Real News PR. And Mark, I've been so impressed with you because you've been literally doing interviews with stations across the country, haven't you?
Yes, I have over the last month or so.
Well, it's because I think the public is fascinated with this. Some are probably frustrated, it seems like, with the best and brightest minds that we have in the United States. How come we can't figure this out? How are we still getting breached?
Well, the biggest problem is education. We're just not treating our home computers, our Android phones, Apple phones, with the same respect you would if you were working in a corporate world. So what I try to educate the normal person to do is you got to treat your PCs at home the same way you would if you were in your corporate office. Put some security behind it. It's really cheap, a couple $100. You can have a nice firewall at your home that the foreign countries can't hack into. People don't realize that in my network I have here in Plano, we get on average 10,000 hits an hour of somebody trying to penetrate our network.
No kidding.
It's common across the world. In fact, when I first created USACI.com 10 years ago, we had tons of hacks from China trying to come in because they thought we were part of the U.S. government because we had USA in our domain name. So that's when we said, wow, this is interesting. So, but there is ways of fixing this or making it simpler for people. Now, if you want to talk about the last round of talks on the whole electrical grid being attacked, well, if you go back and take a look what happened, really the reality is our electrical grid is secured down because it's not on the internet. Okay. Every major network is its own private network. They use a protocol called SCADA, and that product, what it really is used for is to turn valves on, turn valves off. It's real simple. Think of the old binary 0-1 days, right?
Right.
But it's on its own network, computers, everything. What happened last October, some employee got onto this email. He's not supposed to, but somehow he got on his email, downloaded an email. It had a malware on it. It got into the network, and then it took a while, and it finally did a what they call a Trojan, and it started picking up things. Now, they had utilities on that network, like most energy firms, and they found it, and it didn't do any damage. And odds are it will be very hard to get into that network. Not the same thing in the retail industry. I was talking to a buddy of mine up in Denton with one of the big beauty supply companies up there, and they got hit the third time in 2 years. And the last time was caused by a malware that was stuck there from 2 years ago.
No kidding.
And they did not find it on a particular server.
I know you work with a lot of businesses, and I think it amazes me, Mark, that so many businesses are so vulnerable that they may be spending money on everything but what they really need to be spending it on is protecting their data.
That's correct. In fact, the company up in Plano, they spent millions from 2 years ago. They hired all these high-end security experts and everything else, and they still got hit about a month ago. And the first question I asked them was, you guys got like a sandbox on your network? And they're like, huh? I said, sandbox is a term, anybody can Google it. It's literally a box that runs on your network, and it looks for weird stuff. And what it looks for is things that are not normal for your corporate network, and then it isolates it, and it tells you that, hey, you got somebody doing something that's not supposed to be doing. Because the people are getting very smart with malware. When you click on an email link to download a $20 coupon, it brings down a piece of malware. Mm-hmm. Now it's nothing. It could be literally 50 characters of a piece of code. But the whole idea is they send it out to all the employees, and they hope like 100 people click on it, right? Then all that gets hooked together, and now it becomes a true malware virus that then starts doing what it needs to do. And the whole concept is it doesn't do anything at first. It's just gathering information, and when it's ready, then it does the sending it out or what have you, and by then it's too late.
My guest right now, Mark Gigliotti, the president of USACI. He's a cybersecurity expert. Mark, I know a lot of this begins with the password, and even after a decade of reminding people don't choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some people just don't get it, do they?
No, they don't. In fact, the last survey showed that 27% of the people still use the word password 1, which, if you want to use the word password 1, I'd tell clients go ahead and do it, but capitalize the P. Use an @ sign instead of an A. Don't use an S. Use like a 5. Use a 0 instead of an O. And then you're a little bit more safe. But your passwords need to be at least 12 characters, not 8 anymore. And you've got, I recommend passphrases. And like, I like to walk my dog Frankie. Use that. But then don't use just, I like to walk my dog Frankie. Use a 1 instead of an I, and so on and so forth.
I got it. So what, in terms of firewalls, and a lot of people listening right now may not even know what we're talking about with a firewall. What do people need to know to protect their home computer?
There are products out there on the market. You can for one is like the big fancy one is Sonic Wall. Mm-hmm. It's owned by Dell. They have one for the commercial and they have one for the business. We sell one called FortiGate, but they're literally an appliance that runs in front of your AT&T box or your DSL box or whatever you got for internet. They'll tell you, AT&T will tell you, well, we have a box. It has a little firewall on it, and it does some basic stuff, but it will not block and protect you like a true firewall. And these products we're talking about are $195. Well, you'll go out and spend that on a nice steak dinner, so why not spend it on your house?
Absolutely. Let's talk about at the federal level. It seems like they are even hiring former hackers, are they not, to try and teach them how to protect their own data?
Yes, that's true. They hire a lot of people that used to be in the hacking business. They may have got their hands caught, then they start working for the government. Our problem in this country is since we're a capitalist country, it costs money to learn how to do all that. Where if you're over in China, they hire people to do it as part of their business. And in China alone, they have over 1 million people, and that's what their job is to figure out how to hack other industries around the world. I have a buddy of mine over there that his job is to try to stay one step ahead of them with higher encryption firewalls to keep them from trying to hack it. So it's just a big business.
In terms of superiority, I mean, I know we're a military superpower, obviously. Are we a superpower when it comes to cybersecurity?
We're probably better than the average country. We could probably hack Russia just as easy. Russia can hack us and what have you. The difference is we don't do it for a living. We do it as a defense, where other countries, the whole world is, hey, United States is a capitalistic country. They're rich. Let's go steal from them. And so they do it as a business because, face it, if you can steal 1 million credit cards and then you can turn around and sell them for 25 cents on the black market, you just made yourself $250,000. And that is exactly what they treat it like a business.
I know that sometimes there's an encryption. I'm obviously I'm not a cyber guy, but even if you were to break in, you can't read what's.
It's called encryption, and that's where even the basic firewall that you pay for $199, it'll have an encryption, so that way when you're sending things in and out, everything's encrypted, so the average person can't steal your Wi-Fi connection and see what's going on. One of the big easy ways of hacking somebody is go to a Starbucks. Sit down, open up your computer, put the word Starbucks in for the Wi-Fi, no password, let people log into it, and then sit there and watch all the typing they're doing.
Wow.
And they're doing and that's why when Wi-Fi has come up in a Starbucks or in a McDonald's, whatever, and it says it's unsecured, unencrypted, that means anything you type on that keyboard, somebody can see it if they've hacked into it. So that means if you're typing in a bank thing and you're doing your password and your account number, you might as well just blur it out because somebody's going to see it.
So I know I have an iPhone and I can create a personal hotspot. If I created a personal hotspot and called it Starbucks guest, I could conceivably get all their information.
You can with the right software on that iPhone, which it's out there, and you can get it by Googling it. You can pick up people's information. That's why do not do banking in a non-encrypted Wi-Fi environment because you might as well just put it out on a billboard.
We're even hearing about hotels. I mean, when you travel, Mark, and I know you do business all over the country. When you travel, do you use the Marriott Wi-Fi, or what do you do?
I'll use the Wi-Fi to get into my cloud because we do desktop as a service. And then once I get to my cloud, everything's encrypted, so I don't care. If I don't get into there, then I'll use my hotspot off my Verizon phone, which is also encrypted. But if you go into a hotel, it's not encrypted, so don't be doing your banking statement. But if you go to, like, we offer desktop as a service, you go into our environment, you open up your Windows 7 desktop, everything in there is secured, everything's encrypted. Do your banking from there, then you're good to go.
That's awesome. What's your website, Mark?
www.usaci.com.
Mark Gigliotti, thank you so much for joining us. You've been a great guest. Really appreciate it.